Hi, everybody. Welcome to Chat and Craft with Lorraine. My name is Lorraine Tierney, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. Thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you for watching, and welcome if you're a first-time viewer, or welcome back if you've watched me before. I love comments. I love for you to tell me what you're thinking or to answer me when I ask questions out there. So please jump right in. Today we're going to do a card that uses some watercolor background. So it's Christmas in July. I'm trying to focus on Christmas cards a little bit. And we don't have a lot of Christmassy DSP on the Stampin' Up! Website right now, just a little bit. So here's a way, an easy way to make a couple of backgrounds that you can use for Christmas cards or other kinds of cards. We'll make a Christmas card and maybe something else tonight. All right, so please say hello if you're watching. Hi, Deb. I'm hoping you can hear me because I was having some technical difficulties before. I'm going to switch my camera over so we can get started. Hi, Mary. Yes, we had a nice dinner out. Thank you. It was very nice. So I'm going to use some watercolor paper, and the Fluid 100 watercolor paper comes this size. I think this is 5 by 7. Yes. So that's not a great size. Hi, Michelle, for the front of a card. So I like to get the most out of the paper and have a decent size for the front of the card. So I cut the 7-inch side in half. I cut it to 3.5. And then we have 2 pieces that I would use on a card front. So today we're going to use a little re-inker. So this is my Pretty in Pink re-inker, and you probably buy these when you get your stamp pad so that you can re-ink your pad. Well, there's also some fun techniques you can do with them. Hi, Nancy. Oh, I'm glad you found me. So I'm going to put a little bit of Pretty in Pink, like 2 drops of the re-inker right on my glass mat. And the glass mat is really great for watercolor because it cleans up so easily. I keep one of these microfiber cloths handy, and it just wipes it right up. Sometimes I use my Stampin' Mist to clean my mat, or Windex, or just warm water. So it's great. So now I'm going to take my little spritzer, Stampin' Spritzer, and add some water to that. And I want to mix it around. I want to have it be a little more uniform. And I think I want just a tad more water in there. Okay, so now I'm just going to take my piece of watercolor paper. Hi, Bonnie. Thank you for sharing. And you can use either side of this. I don't believe there's a right or a wrong side. And I'm going to just kind of pat that in to my mess here. And just kind of smush it on. And as you might have figured out already, you'll never get 2 of these that look the same. Okay, so this one I have spread out a little more than some of the other ones you'll see. And I think I want a little bit more dark color over here. It's darker on this side. Hi, Lorraine. So I'm just going to put a little more. And I can use my same cloth to dab it away from the edge if I want. I'm going to make that just a tad darker. It's hard to get a half a drop or a little drop. Sometimes if you just tap it, and then my little stick, if there's enough water there, is good at mixing it around. Some people use like a credit card to drag it around. Uh, you can also use like a water painter and squeeze. Oh, I may have made that too light again. Well, let's see what I can get. All right, so I'm going to let that dry a little bit. We're going to make another one while we're getting messy on that other piece of paper. And I'm trying to decide what will look like a better background for some trees, azure afternoon or balmy blue. What do you think? And this is pretty in pink, and you can see how it's fairly true to color. It separates a little bit, but it's fairly true. I wonder which one. I think I'm going to go with balmy blue. What do you think? Is that a good choice? Oh, Michelle says azure. Let's see if anybody else says anything. I like to go with the crowdsourcing. All right, I'm going to go with azure, Michelle. I'm going to put a pretty decent sized drop right there and add some more water. It is spraying it out a little bit. And I think I'm going to leave a little of that dark stuff in there to see if that helps me get a little bit more shading. And I can also add some water on my paper. I work on my glass mat all the time now, except when I'm using blending brushes. I'll put one piece of grid paper over it. Oh, I got balmy and azure. Well, I might have to do both. Might have to do both. Okay, so let's put just a tad of water on our paper and spread it out a little bit and see what kind of difference that makes. So that helps the color to move a little bit more. And I really like that. That's really pretty, but it is kind of dark. I'm going to grab another piece of paper. That was my last one in that pack. This is how the Fluid 100 watercolor paper comes. And I'm going to cut it in half again at 3.5. Okay. And this time I'm going to put some balmy blue down while we let that dry a little bit. Oh, I just got it on my fingers. Okay. And some water. And a little water. It helps if you point your sprayer the right way. I got most of it over there. Okay. Let's see what we get with this one. I'm going to do a little more. Okay. Huh. I got some cool stuff going on there. All right. There we go. So let's clean this off. And I have a couple of backgrounds that are dry already. but I think we will hit these with a little bit of the heat gun. There we go. Nice and clean, just to dry them off a little bit. But as your afternoon certainly is bright. What I like about drying it is you can get these little blooms or these little ridges of color. You don't get that so much when you dry it on your own. And if it curls a lot, you wet the or dry the other side too, and that flattens it out some. All right, let's do that. But we'll start with a couple of the other backgrounds that I have. I'll just leave those right there. So here's the pretty and pink one we did tonight. And here's a pretty and pink one I did the other night. I must have been feeling smaller the other night or something. So it did come out a lot smaller. Now I was thinking, I love blue and pink Christmas cards. So I'm thinking about stamping some trees in blue. And I've put these two trees, these are from, let me grab the stamp set. These are from Scenic Adventure. And I've put the two trees on one block. And I've spaced them out a little bit because I'm going to try to stamp them once and then stamp them again. We'll see how that works. And the other thing I'm going to do, because we're going for a watercolor look, is after I get them inked up really well, I'm going to spritz my stamp. So I have to get these out of the way because I don't want to get them wet again. So I'm going to give a couple of spritz to that, and we're going to put it down with wet ink and let it sit for a second and then pull that up. Isn't that pretty? I will lift that up when it gets a little bit drier, but if I lift it up now, there's some ink on it that will run, and I don't want it to run outside of the tree. So now I am going to wipe my stamp off. I don't want to get the water in my ink. And ink that up again and spritz it again. And I'm checking to see where my little hole is. And we'll see if I can get these. I probably have a little more room between a couple of those trees than I need, but that's okay. Do you think I should do a third tree? Or I think that might be enough for me. Maybe you can convince me to do another one. But I'm gonna let that dry. You can see I did get a little bit of splatter. But that's okay. I kind of like that. I'm debating, should I do a little more splatter? You'll have to let me know if you think I should do a little bit more. So that's one way of decorating it. Now this one is still a little wet. Let's just hit it with the heat tool. I'll show you a little bit. I tried doing this on regular paper rather than the watercolor paper. And I don't like the way it comes out as much. So I was thinking maybe just like a horizon or something. I did cut some trees out of this, but I don't know what I used them on. I'll see if I can find it. Oh, I do know, and I can show you. And then this one just was it just looks too solid on there. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. Hi, Jerry. The stamp set, Nancy, is Scenic Adventure. The trees come from that. And there's also dies for the trees that we're going to use in that. Okay, so I think we're going to use, for this one, I thought maybe some butterflies. We're going to make that first one into a Christmas card, but maybe this one into some butterflies. Now I just got something on that. These I used two-tone cardstock. So you can see there's a darker side and a lighter side. So this is Bubble Bath and I believe Pretty in Pink. If I turn it over, all three are light. I'll put the dark one in the middle. And then that one is darker. So it's really cool to use the two-tone cardstock and have a little bit of shading without having to do anything for the shading. Just remember to turn over your piece of paper so that you're cutting it right side up once on the light and then right side up once on the dark. So I think we'll put these on here, and I think I will stamp a happy birthday sentiment on that. What do you think? Birthday good? I did. I thought I took out a birthday sentiment. Well, let's use the unbounded love. We'll use the happy birthday that's in that. And I think I splattered some stuff on that too. I'm going to use Memento for that, and I'm going to hope that this is dry enough. If it's not dry, Memento is going to bleed, so it feels pretty dry to me. I don't want to use Stays On because Stays On stains my stamps. It just stays on too much. There we go. That looks okay. I don't think that's gonna run. So let's do that. And let's mat that on a piece of flat that I forgot. I have some other cards to show you too after we make these two. So stick with me, please. So this was 3.5 by 5. So I'm going to do 5 1/8 by 3 5/8. All right, and we have to put our butterflies on there. So I'm going to use glue dots to attach my butterflies. So I don't want them to be totally adhered. I want them to look a little light and airy. Oops, this one came off on my thumb. And then I like to use tear and tape with the watercolor paper because it's heavy and it does curl a little bit on you. So the tear and tape is a nice, strong adhesive. So we'll put that on here. And then if you find your bone folder, there it is, and give it a good rub, it's pretty easy to pick up that backing with take your pick tool. Because I don't have, whoops, I went off the edge there a little bit. I don't have fingernails to help me get under there. So my handy dandy take your pick tool. All right, let's put this on. And then I think I brought over a white card base. And we'll put that on there. And we have a simple birthday card. We do need some bling on that. We maybe could put a little twine around it because you know how I like my twine. I wonder if we should use white, or I have strawberry slush. I also have whatever this color is. That might be Flirty Flamingo. Where's the white? Flirty Flamingo or white? I think I like the white. You like the blue trees with the black? Yeah, that's going to make a nice Christmas card. We're going to finish that one up in a second. Those trees are just drying a little bit. Okay. Let's go. Whoops. Let's go around a couple of times. I don't want to go over my birthday. I just want to go near it. I'm wrapping this up like a package. There's a lot of twine on this. That's okay. Brown paper packages tied up with string, right? These are a few of my favorite things. I won't sing because that's just not pretty. My cat is saying hello, lovingly known as Fat Boy. Okay. All that twine, and I have a little bit stingy on that tail. Oh, sorry, I'm all thumbs tonight. I can't seem to get it to pull tight. There we go. And then I'm just going to move it. I think I want to move it way over to this side. Something different for me. Oh, I just have a twisty bow, and I don't like having a twisty loop. We'll have to put a glue dot underneath it in a minute. Nope, move it back. Sorry, guys. Sorry. You liked the darker pink, Nancy, huh? Yeah, I went with the white. There you go. More of a clean look. Okay, so now let's glue this on. I don't usually put the cap on my glue. That was quite the surprise. And this is not going to have an even border all the way around it because it was 3.5 by 5. But that's okay. And let's put some of these pretty pink, pretty strawberry slush and pretty in pink gems on there because we need a little bling. There we go. So that's a birthday card with that kind of a background. Hi, Sue. And then here is our Christmas card. That's still a little wet. Let's hit that with the heat gun. I love the way I lost just a little bit of a detail in those stamps, not too much. You don't want it to turn into a blob. Okay. So here are the trees cut out in die cut. So part of me wondered, do I want to layer trees on top of those other trees or leave it be? I don't know. I'm going to do a long sentiment on that. And I'm going to do the sentiment from, this is a sneak peek of something that comes out in September. August for demonstrators and September for customers. Unless you want it sooner, then become a demo. But I'm going to use the peace, love, and joy. You like them layered in the middle, Michelle? It is pretty cool, isn't it? Like that. And then peace, love, and joy. Or maybe we should cut it out. Oh, let's see. If I put those trees on there, do I want a big sentiment going across there? Let's think about that. We could do, this is not the right color, but this will give us an idea. We could do a Merry Christmas. No, I don't like that. All right, well, let's do one thing at a time. Let's layer up our trees. It looks like layered trees gets the vote. So I'm going to put some of the mini dimensionals on these as the bigger ones show through. I love trees for Christmas cards. Love, love, love having trees. All right, and let's put that on a mat. I was thinking on either a misty moonlight mat, misty moonlight, and then pink, or we can do pink. Oh, and then misty moonlight, such decisions. Pink and then misty moonlight, or misty moonlight and then pink. I'm going with the misty moonlight. All right, so that's going to be 3 3/8 by 5 1/8 again. Oh, sorry, Michelle. I'm going the other way. We're just on opposite teams. It was need 3 5/8 opposite teams today. Will you forgive me? I hope so. Okay. Let's use the tear and tape again. Let's see. what we should do for a sentiment on this, of course. Oh, you're sweet, Michelle. All right. Whoops, almost was upside down. Let's see. Tear and tape doesn't want to slide, so you gotta get it. Gotta get it right before you go down. There we go. All right. So I don't know. I don't know about a sentiment on the front there. I don't know. Maybe even like a word here and a word here. Balance it out a little bit. I don't know. Let's see. I hate to put the sentiment on it after I put it on the card base. What if I mess it up? Not good planning. Oh, I like that. My card base is not even, so we'll just flip it over. Maybe we should do Merry Christmas. What do you think? Where's my Merry Christmas? I have a lot of stuff out here, guys. Or how about Happy Christmas? I like Merry Christmas. I need a little block. Okay. You know what? I'm going to do the Christmas first down here, and then we can decide if Mary should go next to it or if Mary should go in a different place. Yeah, how about that? That's what I'm thinking. So I'm going to put Christmas. I hope that's straight. Right there. There we go. So do we want Merry up here? Merry Christmas. Or do we want Merry? Oh, I think I like it there. I think I like it there. Whoa, Lorraine Morgan, you're up late. Are you in the UK still? Wow, I just realized that. Yeah. On top of Christmas. Yeah, that's what I think. There we go. Merry Christmas. Whew. The luck was with me for stamping that right on there. Of course, you know me, Michelle. What am I thinking? I'm thinking a little twine, but it will mess up my trees. So let's skip the twine and we'll just put a little bling on there. We could put a little bow. Let's tie a tiny little bow and see what we think. Just a little one. You know what happens. I start messing with this twine. Nope. All right, I got it all tangled up. Bling. Yes, just bling. The twine took care of itself. Make sure my card is opening the right way. I don't know if I have any more of the Misty Moonlight gems that came in the three color gems, something like that. My gems are a mess over here. Let's see. Oh, I do. I have a new pack of the Tinsel Gems 3-pack. Let's use the Misty Moonlight Bling. And then I promise I'll show you the other cards. I've kept you long enough. Okay. Whoops. Let's put one over here. Let's put a bigger one up here. And where do we want to put this one? Here? Here? Sure. I'll just put it over there. So then we have a Merry Christmas. And on the inside, on a piece of white, I didn't do anything on the inside there. I would probably just stamp one of the trees. Let's do that real quick. And I'm not going to hit it with water because this is not watercolor paper that I'm stamping on. So we'll just have a little bit like that on the inside. All right. And then I did a couple, well, one is more traditional, Christmas. So we have that one tonight, and we have this one. Again, make a little room here. And then I did a more traditional one in red and green. And on this one, I did the green background and I stamped the trees and then just used a little piece of DSP and a little sentiment there. And I cut that piece off of one of the non watercolor paper thing that I did. So that's one. And then this one is also non-traditional, but I love this one in these colors. This one is the Pretty in Pink again, but I did splatter, 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 a whole lot of brown on that. And then these trees, this is the two-tone cardstock in early espresso. So the darker side and the lighter side. So that came out really pretty, I think. So I guess I'm in kind of a pinkish mood these days, huh? I don't usually use a lot of pink, always blues, but not too many pinks. So which one is your favorite? Do you like the birthday or the blue trees we did together, the green, more traditional, or the brown? I always like to know what other people like. Oh, here's another background that I made. I tried to do 3 different colors and they kind of ran together and I almost got like a little mud there. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. I will finish up these 2 blues and then I will post what I've made with that. So stay tuned for that. You like the brown? I have 2 votes for the brown trees so far. Yeah, I think that's my favorite. I really do like that one. But I do like the Misty Moonlight and the blue also. Kind of similar. All right. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I appreciate you being here very much. If I can help you make cards at home, I would love to do that. If you have any questions about Stampin' Up! Or techniques, please ask and I'd be happy to help with that too. So have a great rest of your night. Oh, good. Deb likes the blue. Mary likes blue, pink and blue. Julie likes the blue trees with the pink background, blue trees. Great. So there's a little bit of everything. The traditional colors was not the most popular. That is interesting. Yeah. All right. So have a great rest of your Wednesday evening, and I'll be back maybe over the weekend with another live. And I hope that you get a chance to make some cards and send some cards. That's where the magic is. Send your cards. All right. Good night.